Hey guys, M13 here. It's November 11th, 2015. I'll do a life update. I'm on the Ninja, which should surprise some of you since this is the first recent video I've done since the crash. I've ridden the Ninja once before, and I didn't do any videos that day. I didn't even bring my video equipment with me because it was a personal kind of moment. It was my first time on the Ninja since crashing, and I didn't know how I would do or if I'd be able to ride well or etc. So I didn't record. It was interesting when I picked up the Ninja the last time, the first, like it was about 3 months ago. I went to I store it not at my home. I store it at a motorcycle shop. So I went to the motorcycle shop the night before and left my scooter there and got on the Ninja and rode the Ninja home. And in the 10 minutes it took me to ride the Ninja from the shop to my house, my leg was shot. I was like, I could barely get off of the Ninja. I had to drag the leg over the seat, and I was in a lot of pain. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to ride this tomorrow morning. But then the next morning came. I woke up in the morning and I felt fine. My leg felt fine. It didn't hurt anymore. So I was like, okay, well, I'll ride it until my leg hurts, and then I'll turn around and come home. So and yesterday it was killing me after 10 minutes. So I expected to ride it for like 10-15 minutes and then come back home. But I rode for 3 hours straight and it didn't hurt at all. So evidently I was just using muscles that I haven't used in a long time, and I pulled something, and then I slept on it, and it healed, and then the next morning, because it was already stretched out, it was okay to go. And today I'm riding, and I'm having much easier time getting on and off the bike than I did last. And 3 months ago, it was funny, I was on this same road, and I was trying to get my knee down. And keep in mind that my right leg, the bone still hasn't reattached. So I still have a clean break across my right femur, and the bones, you know, like my right femur is literally in two halves and they're not connected. But they've just begun to connect recently. Like I got another x-ray done, and I was very happy to see that they're finally starting to connect. And the doctor said it's good news, because if it still wasn't connecting, we would have to you'd have to go in for surgery again, and we'd have to reposition the bones closer to one another and maybe file off the ends so that they re-heal, because they were worried that they were going to just the bones were just going to close off as two stumps. Yeah, you get it. Oh, we got another guy caught up to us because I'm talking to you fuckers, so I'm riding slow, and some other motorcycle is going to put us to shame. So the guy following me is one of my tour guests. I'm doing a full tour starting tomorrow, actually, which makes riding today kind of dumb, because God forbid something happens to me today, I'd have 8 customers tomorrow. That would be screwed. I'd think of something, but still. We're gonna just stay to the side. Does that guy want to pass us? No? Yeah, let him pass. And then, yeah, so, but knock on wood, I should be, I'm taking it pretty safe. And plus, the guy behind me, he rides motorcycles in Australia, so, and he's on the same kind of bike that he rides in Australia, so he should be okay. Yeah, let me tell you guys about my last tour. I've got other videos where I talk about it, but I'll bring it up. I did a tour like 6 weeks ago, and I sprained my ankle on the tour, and I cut my foot up pretty badly. I had a minor incident that I'm not going to expand on too much. I sprained my left knee. Oh, and it was crazy. I talk about it on my Facebook, but if you don't follow my Facebook, let me sum it up. Let me try to long story short it. We do a 7-day. The tour is 11 days, but we spend like a couple of days here, then we do a 7-day lap around the island, then we spend another day or two here, like in my hometown. So after the couple of days in my hometown, we headed out to do the 7-day lap around the island, and on the very first day, I got a staph infection in my left foot. And what a staph infection is just a really bad infection. And my whole foot swole up, my left foot, and I couldn't put any pressure on it. And my left leg is my good leg, my right leg is my bad leg. So my good leg was taken out of commission, and then my right leg, you know. So it was bad. And then a few days later, I had an incident where I cut up and sprained my right ankle. So my left foot was swollen with a bad infection, and my right foot had a sprained ankle and cuts. And I also sprained my left knee. And I had to continue the tour like that, and it was insane. There were so many times I'm like, I should just, you know, take an ambulance back to my home city, and I'm like, I can't do it. I got to tough it out. I got customers. This is how I make a living. So it was. You have no idea how insane. I'll give you an example of how insane it was. At one of our stops, we borrowed an ambulance. We borrowed an ambulance. No, we borrowed a wheelchair from a hotel, and my customers were pushing me around town. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna head back to the hotel to rest. And then one of the guys is like, okay, I'll push you. And I'm like, no, don't push me, man. I'll push myself. I need the exercise. I'll exercise my arms. You guys. I couldn't make it all the way back to the hotel. I made it like halfway back to the hotel, and then my arms gave out because the road was bad surface, and the wheels were rusty. It's nothing to do with the fact that I'm weak. And then yeah, so I pretty much I made it like halfway back to the hotel, and then I just kind of I need to rest, so I'm just sitting there in the wheelchair resting, and then it started to rain. And I still couldn't, I'm trying to push myself, and I couldn't get it. I finally ended up, I think I got out of the wheelchair, and I was walking, but I was leaning heavily on it, using it as a walker. And it was, but I was barely moving. I was just shuffling along, and it was raining on me, and I was crying a little bit. That was my last tour. So and then it was nuts because the sprain was pretty bad on my right ankle, and I said I got to do another tour in just 6 weeks from now, and 6 weeks isn't necessarily long enough for a sprain to heal. But luckily the sprain wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and it healed up. I still have a scab on my right ankle. It was cut down to the bone on my ankle, and so even though it was 6 weeks ago, it's the cut still hasn't fully healed up. Yeah, anyways, that's a life update. I've done 2 tours recently. Both of them are sold out. This guy's a returning customer. I got another returning customer. I'm happy about the two returning customers because they were 2 of my favorite customers in my past tours. This guy's an Australian guy, and he's just cool. And then I got another guy who's a returning customer, and he's an Irish fishing boat captain. So in other words, he's about as tough as it gets. You know, he's a big guy, fucking 6 foot something, and built like a barrel, and he's Irish, and he's a cool guy, and he's one of those gentle giant type guys. Doesn't talk much, but he's always smiling, and he's always there. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, yeah, enough of this riding slow. I'm just gonna shut up and focus on my riding. Normally I can talk and ride quick, but you know, this is my second time riding in 12 months, and I've got a broken right leg, technically. Ah, shit. That's a nice corner, and I just totally wasted it. See, if this was America, I would have to worry about one of these cars not liking me passing them on a double solid yellow and swerving at me. But it's Taiwan, so in general, they usually move over to the right just to let you go squeeze by to help. Oh no, I'm not gonna. I considered passing here. That'd be cutting it close. Not to mention, there's a car parked on the blind corner. Look at this. He just fucking parked. What are you doing, you piece of shit? No, he's not moving over to let me go. He's just cutting the corner in the scooter lane. Now maybe he's letting me go. I can't. I see that guy taking pictures, and I'm like, oh, I'll get my knee down for a picture, and then I realize it's a right-hand turn. I can get my left knee down, I can't get my right knee down. My leg doesn't turn that way anymore. Hopefully in the future, but this is good physical therapy for me, because it's forcing me to bend my right leg in ways I wouldn't normally bend it. I kind of baby my right leg too much because I've been babying it for so long. Like, some people say that, like, a lot of the time my limp is just out of habit. It's not, my leg isn't necessarily sore, I'm just limping out of habit, although it still does get very sore. If I walk for longer than 2 or 3 hours, I'm done. If I walk for longer than 2-3 hours, then I just need to, I pretty much have to like go home and just lie in bed for the rest of the day because I'm in too much pain. But if it's for an hour or two, I'm fine. I'm like the same as you pretty much. About being cold today, and now I'm sweating. It's only about I think the high today is 26 degrees Celsius, but it's only 9 in the morning, so it's maybe like 23, 24. See there, you had the van move over so I could pass, even though it's one lane. Taiwanese are awesome like that. Even if it's like a single lane and you're not allowed to pass, the cars will move over so that you can fit by without crossing over the solid yellow. Cruising. Ah, that's good. We saw that guy on the way up. Yeah, so that's it for the video. My tours are still going strong and they're still awesome. I'm still getting constant repeat business. I've had guys that have done all of Asia and then they do my tour and they're like, my tour blows away every other tour they've done, every other country they've done. I'm very confident in selling my tours in this manner, and I don't, you know, if I wasn't very confident, I wouldn't sell it that way because I'd be worried that you'd show up and be disappointed. But if you do my tour, you won't be disappointed, as long as you don't crash. Then you might be disappointed.